students, my name is Adeomadiola Oluwatofumi and I'm your personal teacher in economics. I'll be looking at the topic inflation, looking at the meaning, types and causes of inflation. Let's get started. What is inflation? Inflation is the general increase in the price of goods and services over time, reducing the purchasing power of money. Simply put, when inflation occurs, we need more money for the same quantity of goods we usually buy. We have several types of inflation. We have creeping inflation, galloping inflation, demand pull inflation, hyperinflation, and stagflation. What is creeping inflation? Creeping inflation is the slow and gradual increase in the price of goods and services. What is galloping inflation? Galloping inflation is the rapid increase of goods and services. What is hyperinflation? Hyperinflation is the extreme rapid increase of goods and services, resulting to economic instability. What is demand pull inflation? Demand pull inflation is the excessive aggregate for demand of a particular goods, reducing or resulting in the high price of that goods. Then lastly, what is stagflation? Stagflation is inflation combined with stagnant economic growth and unemployment. Moving on, we go to the causes of inflation. We have demand and supply imbalance. What is demand and supply imbalance? Demand and supply imbalance simply means when the demand of a particular good is higher than the supply of that good, it increases the price of the particular good. Now we move on to monetary policy. Monetary policy is when the circulation of money in an economy is higher than the required money that needs to be in that economy. Then we have increase in raw materials. When the raw materials for the production of that goods is high, it leads to the high rates or high cost of production of the goods and also resulting to high price of that particular good. Then lastly, we have resources constraints. Resources constraints means when there is not enough resources in the economy, that you have to go outside the economy or go outside the country to buy or import the same raw material you need for the production of that goods. Which means that once the high rates of importing that goods is high, the production will be high and also the price of that goods will be high. Thank you very much. We've come to the end of this section.
Thank you, Ms. Adiola, for guiding us through the types, meaning, and causes of inflation. My name is Amzat Usman Bayani. I'm a personal teacher and I'm going to be talking us through the effects and causes and control of inflation. Now let's look at the effects of inflation. Inflation has both negative and positive effects. On the negative side, it reduces purchasing power, it leads to a higher increase in tax rates, and lastly, it creates uncertainty in the economy. Now, however, on the positive side, it encourages spendings, it can reduce the real debt value, and lastly, it helps to increase the real asset value. Now, let's look at the control, how inflation can be controlled. Inflation can be controlled through the use of monetary policy, fiscal policy, and exchange rate policy. Firstly, the monetary policy. The central bank can adopt monetary policy to increase interest rates or to control the supply of money in the economy. Secondly, the fiscal policy. The government can adopt fiscal policy to increase tax rates or reduce the spendings of its country. Lastly, the exchange rate policy. The government can adopt exchange rate policy to strengthen the currency of the country so as to reduce or to make importation cheaper. Thank you.
Good day, students. My name is Ali Bishawash. I'm your personal teacher and I'll be teaching you the topic deflation. I will teach you the definition and causes. Let's dive in. Definition of deflation. Deflation is the general decline in the prices of goods and services over time, which increases the purchasing power of money. In simple terms, during deflation, you can buy more with the same amount of money. Now, let's move to the causes of deflation. With me, I have 5 causes of deflation. One is decrease in money supply. Number 2, fall in aggregate demand. Number 3, increased productivity. Number 4, high levels of debt. Number 5, tight monetary policy. Number 1, decrease in money supply. One major cause is a decrease in the supply of money. When the central bank reduces the money in supply, there's less money available for spending, leading to lower prices. Second, fall in aggregate demand. A decrease in overall demand for goods and services, all leading to deflation. This can be due to reduced consumer spending, lower investment, or decreased government spending. The third idea is increased productivity. Advances in technology and production methods can lead to oversupply of goods, causing prices to fall. Number 4, high level of debt. When consumers and business forces is paying off debt rather than spending, demand decreases, leading to deflation. And number 5, tight monetary policy. High interest rates can discourage borrowing and spending, contributing to deflation. Thank you.
Mr. Joshua, for giving us the meaning and causes of deflation. My name is Adisabi Jolafemi, and I am your personal teacher. I'll be taking you on the effects and control of deflation. Effects of deflation. Deflation has many negative effects, one being increase in unemployment. As business cut costs, that leads to reducing production and laying off workers. 2. Higher real value of debt. Higher real value of debt happens when it makes it more expensive for the borrower to repay loans. 3. Economic recession. This prolonged deflation can lead to economic recession. Control of deflation. To control deflation, central bank can use monetary policy by lowering interest rates to encourage borrowing and spending. 2. Governments can use fiscal policy by increasing public spending on infrastructure. And that's a wrap on today's lesson. I hope you understand this economic concept.